Welcome back to Biblical Reality Check. For this episode, you'll notice something a little different. I'm experimenting with a new narration style using an AI-generated voice. The analysis, the insights, and the message are still entirely mine. I'm simply exploring a delivery format that keeps the production process smooth as I create more of these videos. Let me know how this version lands for you in the comments. Today we begin a three-part journey into one of the most mysterious and misunderstood moments in the Old Testament. Moses standing before a bush that burns, but is never consumed. In that moment, the infinite identifies itself with 5 simple words. I am that I am. Across this series, we're going to unpack why those words matter. Not just for Moses, not just for the Israelites, but for anyone who wants to build a mind aligned with its core being rather than its conditioning. In this first video, we'll revisit the story of Moses and explore how the burning bush isn't just a supernatural event. It's a vibrational shift, a moment where Moses steps out of the identity he inherited and into the identity he chooses. In the second video, we'll decode the phrase I am that I am as a self-referential loop, a linguistic recursion that reveals the underlying architecture of reality itself. And in the third video, we'll get practical. We'll break down how to use I am as a tool, a piece of mental programming that reshapes identity and aligns you with the frequency of truth, courage, and purpose. So with that foundation set, let's begin. According to the early life of Moses, found in the Bible's book of Exodus, Moses is a Hebrew born during a time when Egypt's Pharaoh ordered all Hebrew infants to be killed. His mother hides him in a basket and sends it down the Nile River, where it is discovered by Pharaoh's daughter, who then raises Moses as her own child. While living in the Egyptian palace, Moses becomes aware of his heritage as a Hebrew and ends up killing an Egyptian who he sees beating a Hebrew slave. Moses flees to Midian to escape punishment for the killing, where he becomes a sheep herder. It is while tending to his flock that Moses comes across the bush that is burning but is not being consumed by the fire. As Moses approaches the bush, he hears God call his name twice from within the bush, to which Moses responds, "Here I am." God tells Moses not to come any closer and to take off his sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. After telling Moses how he has seen the misery of my people in Egypt, meaning God's people, Moses is instructed to bring them out of Egypt and deliver them into a land flowing with milk and honey. Moses feels ill-equipped for the mission and uncertain about approaching Pharaoh, but God tells him, "I will be with you." The encounter ends with Moses asking what he should say to the Israelites when they ask who sent him, and God says to Moses, "I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you." So that's the gist of the story of Moses and the burning bush. It's a story that I failed to understand until I jumped headlong into universal laws, Tesla's energy, frequency and vibration theory, and the allegory of Adam and Eve. I believe that the burning bush is a symbol of divine energy that sustains without depletion, echoing the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, which says that energy morphs. Ice to steam, anger to peace, but it never dissipates. The burning bush is not a miracle of combustion. It is a symbol of energy that sustains without depletion. The hum doesn't speak, it vibrates. Bushes don't burn without being consumed. God does. Our spirits do. When Moses killed the Egyptian, he was a firebrand who could not stand to see the abusive treatment the Hebrew slave was receiving. That fiery spirit was dulled during all his years of exile. According to the book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 30, Moses was in Midian for 40 years, where he lived as a shepherd. That is a stark contrast from the prince he was in Egypt. His name for his son is Gershom, which means foreigner, and hints at a mindset of alienation and perhaps resignation. Although we are not given the details of what it was, something stirred that spirit in him again and brought forth the desire to free the Hebrew slaves in Egypt, a desire that got short-circuited when he went into exile and was reawakened 40 years later during many hours spent alone out in the fields herding his sheep. Exile is not absence, it is incubation, the law of gestation at work. The hum often hides in silence until we're ready to hear its frequency. The burning bush is a visual representation of high-frequency energy, stable yet dynamic, reflecting the law of vibrations principle. Everything is energy, vibrating at unique frequencies, for instance, love and hate, truth and lies. The bush vibrates at the frequency of paradox, fire without consumption, presence without destruction. It's the same paradox echoed in Isaiah. Light and darkness, peace and calamity, all from one source. When God tells Moses to tell the Israelites that I am sent him, Moses is not learning a name. Rather, like a radio locking onto a clear signal, Moses is tuning into the frequency of pure consciousness, the hum that shifts fear into courage and exile into a mission. Moses, who is full of fear and doubt, is transformed by the encounter. The I am shifts his low vibration of fear and exile to a higher vibration of courage and purpose. His alignment to I am empowered him to shift reality and become the courageous leader parting seas, instead of the uncertain exile herding sheep. No religious dogma required. The I am isn't a sky judge barking orders. It is the vibrational energy vibrating at the frequency of reality and truth, and it is accessible to all of us, not just Moses. Centuries later, Jesus echoes this I am in John's Gospel, claiming, "Before Abraham was I am," and weaving it into metaphors like, "I am the bread of life." John 6 verse 35. "I am the light of the world." John 8 verse 12, and "I am the good shepherd." John 10 verse 11. Moses heard I am in fire. Jesus embodied I am in flesh. Both reveal that the source is not divided. It is one consciousness manifesting through different frequencies. The Pharisees tried to stone Jesus for saying I am because they would not hear the truth. They wanted to accuse him of blasphemy for claiming to be God. But the truth is that before Moses was I am, before Jesus was I am, and before you are I am. We are all I am, and the difference is that Jesus aligned with I am's vibrational energy, whereas the vibration of the egoistic Pharisees was too low to tune in. They would rather just kill him and silence the truth. From Horeb's bush to Jesus' words, the I am hums through history. Moses' burning bush was the I am as a desert flame, a wake-up call for a lost shepherd. Jesus' I am was the same hum, now human, walking Judea's dust, saying, "You are in me, and I am in you." John 14 verse 20. Both tuned to the source consciousness within all of us. Moses to free a nation, and Jesus to free souls from fear, lies, and helplessness. The I am hums on to our present-day struggles. It's the code beneath it all, the frequency of truth, love, and action pulsing in every living thing. When we face injustice, fear, or exile today, the hum is still burning. It asks us not to escape polarity, but to tune into it, to see both shadow and signal as frequencies of the same source. It's not about following rules like the Pharisees hoisted upon the people Jesus was talking to. It's about tuning into our own hum, and by staying in alignment with universal laws. The burning bush is not just a miracle of fire that does not consume. It is a rupture in consensus reality, a glimpse into the deeper code beneath existence. And at the center of that rupture is a code, not a title, not a label, but a loop. I am that I am. With those words, God didn't just identify itself, it revealed the syntax of being. To understand the bush, we must understand the name. Because hidden inside that phrase is the recursive code of existence, the key to why reality sustains itself, and how our consciousness mirrors the source. And that's where we go in the next video. Thanks for watching.